kind of sit in my mind for a while. And so I began to pray. And not that I want to be super spiritual and say, well, this is what the pastor does all the time. I'm just saying in this moment, God directed me and I was able to wrap my mind around praying. And so I stopped and prayed and just pouring out my heart. God, this is really tough. And so instead of going any further with anything else, I decided to just open up God's Word. And so I did that in a different way. I could open it up and just open up God's Word and go through the pages and things, but I needed somebody to kind of give me some direction. So here's what I do. I'm going through this year. I have 2 different devotional books I've been going through, and we can put those in the notes for you. You can feel free to pick them up. One's by Paul David Tripp called New Morning Mercies. And then the other one is called Taste and See. This is by John Piper. This one by Paul David Tripp is excellent, and it has a daily devotional for every single day. Maybe you pick up the Daily Bread or something like that, or you have an app on your phone or something that kind of gives you some thoughts. And then this one here by John Piper, Taste and See, he's got 140 different thoughts from God's Word, and it's a little bit more in depth. So I was up in my bedroom, and this was on my nightstand, and so I just picked this up, and I began to read it. And this, John Piper is a pastor and an author, and he just is reflecting on God's Word. And I picked it up and read the very next reading. And as I read it, it was like God had that right there for me right then. Because in that moment, while I was discouraged and I wanted to be irritated, God redirected my path. It's like he put a light onto my path. Because I wanted to be discouraged, I wanted to be frustrated. I wanted to get on someone's case for what was bothering me because the circumstance was I didn't bring it on. It was somebody else. And God changed my path by opening up his Word and exposing my heart and how my heart was wrong. And it wasn't that I couldn't be discouraged, but it was that God wanted to redeem that discouragement and direct my path outside of just the circumstance, but into what his plan was. Man, that doesn't happen to me every day, but it happened to me that day. And God directed me into what he wanted me to do, and it's still shaping me every day since. And that God's giving me some clear marching orders as to what I should be doing with some different things going on. I hope that you are getting into God's Word in that kind of a way. And more so, every day we should be diving into God's Word because it is the truth for us. It's inspired. It's going to direct. It's going to correct. It's going to give us a path that we should be following. I was driving down 295 last night. And it was about 9 o'clock. Melanie and I, we had to run out and pick some stuff up. And so we're coming down 295. And as we were, there was a car that was about 100 feet in front of us, or 200 feet, whatever, in front of us, that their lights weren't on. Now, we were going around the speed limit, and they were going significantly above the speed limit with no lights, no brake lights, anything. And it was dark out. And we were nervous for them, because they're driving fast without any lights. You know, sometimes in life, we do that. We drive really fast without putting the light on to direct our path. And it's really scary. Right now, with all that's going on, last Sunday, I talked about hope during these times that you're not sure what's around the corner. There's no way to know what to expect. And that's kind of like having the lights off while you're driving down the highway. But with God's Word, he gives us light as to how to deal with everything that's going on. So maybe you're under a ton of pressure. Maybe you're dealing with a crisis. Maybe you've got discouragement like I had, or something that's going on in your life. Listen, instead of running to other things to light your path, would you run to God's Word? Maybe you're struggling. I don't know where to start. That's fine. That's fine. Get some help. Ask somebody. Give me a call. Text me, whatever. Or grab one of these devotional books that are just really good at getting into God's Word. Anything like this or another one. And you'll be amazed as to how God directs your path. I know that's why you tuned in tonight, right? because you want to get God to direct your path and say, God, I need you here. In the middle of the week, sometimes we're in that middle time and we're like, man, I really need some help here. And I hope this has been that for you even tonight. Hey, thanks so much for joining. Thanks for being here tonight. Really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you Sunday as we continue to open God's Word and show what God has for us for each and every day. Hey, thanks. Take care, church.